Good evening, my name is Lauren Wattenbarger and I am in CTE5619 with Dr. Adams at Appalachian State University, and I'm here to present on my Critical Issues podcast. In trying to decide on a critical issue, there are several that I think we oftentimes hear or begin to experience when we enter into a classroom. One that I'm actually going to speak on that is probably a little more near and dear to my heart, just because I like to make the most of every opportunity, is the fact that does the overall goal and purpose of CTE match our testing strategies? What I mean by this is if CTE is all about a student's knowledge, skill, or ability, that prepares them for the real world and any varying career levels, why are we placing such an emphasis on a multiple choice test that does not necessarily evaluate a level of skill or preparation in a course? I certainly recognize that CTE is heavily funded, and the amount of money invested in these programs truly needs to contain a level of accountability and success. But there has to be a better way to ensure that we are providing students with a real-life experience, making connections with the industry, and really developing a student's skills. If we believe in building on these practical things, why are programs denied or funds cut if a teacher has a group of students who may not simply test well? Now, that's not always the case, but we see it happen quite a bit. And how do we fix this? How is it fair or right to cut funding in an area where maybe students don't test well? Maybe school wasn't emphasized in the home or encouraged in the home. So there's a lot of things that go into sort of fixing this issue. What I found in my research and interviewing and working with some of my peers is that there really is no right answer, there's no wrong answer, and there's certainly no easy answer. So what you'll see is that I like a visual, so I've created a mini presentation, and I'm going to speak on behalf of some of my peers. I did want to interview them, but not all of them want to be on camera, so let's move forward. This particular person, Diane Brewer, works with me in the health sciences department, and she absolutely recognizes that we need to offer opportunities that expose students to real-life tasks. She recognizes that we can build a student's skill and knowledge and ability in an area when we connect them with field trips, guest speakers, internships, and different clinical experiences. Students are oftentimes more eager to participate in their learning when they are actually engaged in a particular skill. When it comes to the test, we ask them to partake in some sort of exam and don't even touch on the skill. So she feels that we're asking them to do something that defeats the purpose of that overlying goal of CTE. She feels that there are some students that generally don't test well, and so we don't ever give them an opportunity to truly show what they've learned after having taken a CTE course. Ashley Peterson, she is a teacher who has worked probably, I think, 5 years now in career and technical education, and she teaches agriculture. And she too felt like, life is not about multiple choice tests. It's not about 1.5 hours and 100 multiple choice questions, evaluating somebody's ability to perform their job. Instead, we perform our jobs better when we're actually practicing those skills and repeating them day after day, working with team members, and so on. I thought she had some really strong points, but she felt that there was a shift in society that told students they needed to go to college in order to be able to find a meaningful career. And while there is a lot of value in that, it's not the end-all be-all. And so when this particular communication came about, the importance of CTE and CTE education and that purpose was somewhat lost. We were pushed to perform higher on tests in order to be competitive with other countries, and then this led to students needing to show their learning by means of a test instead of actually applying the knowledge. She feels that with CTE this is not exactly the case, because not only do students engage in an activity, but they're also learning through that hands-on experience. And this is perfect for kids who aren't good at school. What this doesn't show is that not all students are college-bound, and so when we can develop these skills, then it gives them a hope and a future that they may not otherwise have in a traditional classroom. So why set CTE up in sort of the same facet or parameter? Jan Rowe is also a health science teacher, and she feels that we can do a better job when preparing our students for real world by offering more of a hands-on approach. She feels that when we include hands-on learning, skills tests, and different demonstrations of understanding through internships and just providing students with various opportunities, then we don't only help them to narrow down a career, but we really help them to kind of tweak and develop a deeper interest and understanding of the content that they are learning. When we do this, then we produce students who are prepared for a world that awaits them, is what she said. D'Angelo Hall, he's in marketing and entrepreneurship, and he mentioned that CTE is a dumping ground, and that when we have that issue, then it creates this issue of, does our testing strategy match the overall goal of CTE? And so what I think he sounds like he became frustrated with, or has become frustrated with, is that when it is a dumping ground, then CTE teachers are penalized by poor test scores because they have students who aren't even interested in their content. I will say not, I don't want to say differing against his behalf, but contesting on his behalf. Our new CTE director for our county has said we need to recruit students, because if there's an empty seat, then yeah, it's going to be filled. But if we can recruit students for our classes and our seats are filled, then we don't have to worry about a dumping ground. But going back to his issue is that when students don't care, then they tend to not perform well on the course. And if we're only looking at the evaluation of a course and a teacher's performance and whatnot based on a test score from a student who doesn't care, then, how's that fair, and where do we stop? Finally, how do we resolve the issue? So there's no simple answer. Some things that I came up with are, can we offer a skills test, much like some of the things that are offered by maybe a CTSO when students go and compete in competitive events? They get to choose the area of interest. They get to study the material. They get to seek out the things that most appeal to them. And so can we do that in sort of a testing format? The other is that, can we offer a practical placement of an internship or some sort of skill work? Some of our upper level courses will provide this sort of opportunity or hands-on skill level. And then the other is like, maybe we do a mixed means. We do some sort of knowledge test, we do another skills test or placement, but how do we really truly engage every learner every step of the way and not just focus so much on a test score? What I found in kind of some readings and just looking through some material, more often than not, we run into the fact that other forms of assessment are going to be time-consuming to change. There is an inconsistent evaluation process across schools, states, whatnot. And then additionally, opportunities are going to vary amongst all the different locales because funding is different, transportation is different, and then even industry availability. So there's really no good answer, and there's no easy answer, but hopefully as we continue to build on these issues and weigh in, there will be a better solution for some of these issues. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to hearing from other students. Thank you.